Howdy y'all, my name is Brent Hefferton, Mistrunner, Toll the Mistrunner Tribe, and today I want to talk to y'all about threat. Many people have hot takes on which kind of tank is the best for threat in Burning Crusade Classic. I will admit I have my own bias and stake in the matter as a warrior tank. However, my take is that a warrior, a druid, a paladin can deal heaps of threat if they know how to maximize the ability of their class and find situations where they truly shine. Take this fight as an example. Void Reaver, using the stack up strat where only the hunters are running around. It is a threat race. You try to deal as much threat as you can without dying, so that the DPS can do as much damage as they can do without needing to throttle. In this case, I wear my maximum threat output set with a couple mid pieces in, just so I don't get blapped. I heroic strike devastate in defensive stance. I bring all the consumes to the table because I like to zug. And lo and behold, we are holding our own as a warrior. I've seen many warriors who do not know the way forward with their threat, and they face Void Reaver with the shield. This is misled. Different bosses hit in different ways. Much of Void Reaver's damage output is in the pounding and in the arcane thing that he shoots around the room. So the tank need not fear this boss if their healers pay attention to who has threat. If they put hots on the tank who has threat, the tank should be fine if they have carry gear or better, and they use an Iron Shield potion. Beyond that, you are free to ride the lightning. Put on more threat gear. Heroic Strike Devastate. Dual wield that. You don't need no shield for Void Reaver. What do I need to block? He's just a silly robot. We're just here blapping him, climbing the threat meter. But Brunt, what about using recklessness and execute to get a higher parse and damage? Man, one of the glorious things about Void Reaver is being able to show people the threat meter. Damage meter is one thing, but at the end of the day and the start of the day, the tank's job is to deal threat. And I'm going to show you this opener that I did. Instead of me saying, well, I'm going to go in berserker stance and try to get some more damage and make that number go up, I'm going to recklessness into defensive stance, because that converts all that bonus crit damage into big threat from defiance talents. More threat in defensive, plus defensive stance gives you even more threat. Check it out. Heroic Strike Devastate. We're in our offense gear as a tank. I went berserker stance, recklessness, last stand. Why do I last stand? Because recklessness makes me more vulnerable, but last stand makes me more robust. When I stack these two up, they basically cancel out. I have 18.8k health in my full threat set. And I'm heroic strike devastating for days. I'm getting miles ahead in threat. So far ahead in threat that I get knocked back. And I still have threat. And I'm still critting. And I'm still with bloodlust. It's like heroic strike devastate, heroic strike devastate, heroic strike devastate. But I do not sacrifice good tank practices of Thunderclap. Thunderclap reduces the boss's attack speed by 20% talented. And the boss has 15 seconds left of my Thunderclap. I keep an eye on that. And I put up Demo Shout. Because even though you're trying to zug threat, you also don't want to die like a fool, which I have done before. Thunderclap is a very strong ability. It just fell off. How long until he puts it back on? Brunt is very excited to heroic strike devastate and it's back on. Thunderclap is back on the boss. This is a good practice that you should get in the habit of doing, because when you face progression in Hajal and Black Temple, you will need good tank practices. Otherwise, you will be a pancake and not a tank. Heroic strike devastate all day long, of course. But some fights you'll need to wear mid gear. I made the mistake this week of mixing in threat gear on Morogrim. Guess what happened? I got parry hasted tidal wave wind fury blapped in less than half a second because I had DST on like a greedy fool. And I had threat braces on, like I was some superstar. And I had a threat ring on, which I didn't need. And I had a threat range slot weapon, and a threat belt. And I died. And at first I thought, man, people should have healed me better. But then I looked at the logs, and I looked at the VOD, and I got bodied so fast that no healer could have healed me in that window. That was my mistake. So as a tank, you need to be able to play the full range of the tank. You need to be the threat beast when it's time to, but you also need to be the robust mitigator of damage when you're on that hard-hitting boss. I hope this information and these thoughts are useful to you, because I've learned many of these lessons the hard way. Sometimes you get too much MIT, and you can't get any threat, and then the DPS just get blapped by Void Reaver. Sometimes you're on Morogrim, and you get grand designs of getting more threat output on the hardest hitting boss of the whole phase, and then you get humbled. Thanks, Morogrim, for making sure I don't get too full of myself, and remember that sometimes having a shield on is correct. Don't forget to repair before you leave town, and as always, ancestors watch over you. Don't be dumb.